All right, welcome to the Cortez City Council regular meeting. Today is Tuesday, June 28th, 2022. The time is now 7:30, and I'd like to call this meeting to order. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance, so please stand and join us. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. We'll move on to roll call, Linda.
Kiefhofer,
Here.
DeHaven,
Here.
Spruill,
Here.
Rainey,
Here.
Yazzie, here. Dobry,
Here.
Medina.
All right, we'll note that here.
Thank
Sorry.
you.
Okay, so we have a quorum. Thank you. All right, and then approval of the agenda. Now is the chance to make any amendments to the agenda or a motion to approve as is.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as is. Or approve of the agenda, I'm sorry. As is.
I'll second.
All right, motion made by Councilmember Dobry and seconded by Kiefhofer.
Yazzie,
Aye.
Kiefhofer,
Aye.
Dobry,
Aye.
Spruill,
Aye.
DeHaven,
Aye.
Rainey,
Aye.
Medina.
Aye. Okay, we'll move on to item 2 on the agenda, the consent agenda. The listing under the consent agenda is a group of items to be acted on with a single motion and vote. This agenda is designed to expedite the handling of limited routine matters by City Council. Either the public, or I guess I can skip that. The mayor will ask if a citizen wishes to have any specific, or council member has any specific item to remove from the consent agenda. Okay. A, approval of the work session and regular meeting minutes of June 14th, 2022. B, approval of the expenditure list for June 28th, 2022 City Council meeting. C, application of a renewal application for retail marijuana store license, retail marijuana cultivation facility for Rennie Rules LLC, DBA Doobie Sisters / Doobie Sisters Botanics, located at 695 North Broadway, Unit 1 and Unit 2 Cortez. D, approval of a renewal application for a retail marijuana center / retail marijuana cultivation facility license for THA Corporation, DBA The Herbal Alternative at 1531 Lebanon Road, Cortez. E, approval of a renewal application for a retail marijuana center license for New View Pharma LLC to be located at 503 Patton Street, Cortez. F, approval of a special events permit to Cortez Rotary Foundation to host an event on Monday, July 4th, 2022 at Centennial Park located at 802 East Montezuma Ave, Cortez. G, approval of a renewal fermented malt beverage liquor license for Stokely Corporation, DBA Handy Mart South, located at 806 and a half South Broadway, Cortez. And H, approval of a renewal fermented malt beverage liquor license for Maverick Inc., DBA Maverick Inc., number 497, located at 455 State Street, Cortez.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second. All right, motion made by Councilmember Dobry and seconded by DeHaven.
DeHaven,
Aye.
Yazzie,
Aye.
Rainey,
Aye.
Dobry,
Aye.
Kiefhofer,
Aye.
Spruill,
Aye.
Medina.
Aye. Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to public participation. So just a reminder, anyone who wants to make a public comment, we have public comment cards. And then we are going to add a new system. So each member has a 3-minute time limit to speak. And instead of verbally interrupting people at 30 seconds, we're going to have visual cues. Hopefully that'll kind of help not interrupt the flow of people's comments. So just look for a minute reminder, 30-second, and then what's the red one? And stop. Okay. All right, so public participation. There is no limit to the number of speakers, although public comment will be held to an overall time limit of 30 minutes. The time is now 7:36, so 8:06. Speakers have a time limit of 3 minutes per person, may only speak once, and may not cede time to another commenter. And a reminder, we do have another public comment session at the end of the meeting too, in case we run out of time here. Okay, so I'd like to invite Jaden Halsey up for public comment. Make sure the mic is on green, and then start with your name and address. Yeah.
My name is Jaden Halsey, and it's P.O. Box 862, Dolores, Colorado. Okay. So, good evening. I hope you are all doing well. My name is Jaden Halsey, and on Thursday the 23rd, my 2-year-old daughter and I were followed into the restroom at the duck park. We were followed by a man that was sitting on a bench nearby. He sounded like he was trying to block the main door from anyone else coming in. He then shook our stall door trying to get inside, and I could hear him in the stall next to us when the door failed to open. He left after hearing me get on the phone and stood inside the men's restroom waiting. The police were called after this incident. I don't know what his intentions were, and thank God we didn't have to find out. After telling my story, several other women came forward with incidents similar to mine, and some even worse. Parents I've talked to don't even feel safe bringing their children to the park in fear of being harassed or putting their kids in danger. These are children's parks that we are talking about. We should not have to feel this unsafe in our community, and our children are entitled to a safe place to play and access to public restrooms. I shouldn't have to load my child up just to take them to a safer bathroom. We are all tax-paying citizens that deserve to use the parks that our money is funding. Something needs to change. We need this problem to be addressed, and I think that could easily happen with regular police patrol throughout our parks, whether this be police on foot, bicycles, etc., or possibly even implementing a family restroom. I don't have all the answers. I'm just saying someone is going to get hurt if we don't address this issue. The situation I was put in terrified me to death. It's a shame because we have such nice parks and people are afraid to use them. It's out of control. I've grown up here and I want to continue to raise my children here. As a child, when my mom would take us to the parks, we never felt the fear we have to feel today. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jaden, for sharing your story and your concern with us. Can we follow up with Chief Knuckles or City Manager on this
Absolutely,
situation?
Mayor. In fact, it's already been done, so.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I'd like to invite Jody Halsey, and I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing names wrong. Okay. Oh, and make sure the mic is on, sorry.
Good evening, and I'd like to start off tonight by saying that we live in a really great community and a wonderful, diverse area with so many great outdoor activities, and it's one of the main reasons why I chose to raise my family here. And it's such a great community that my kids are choosing to raise their children here. It's just a shame that, you know, things are really changing and it seems like it's spiraling downward. That was my daughter and my granddaughter that were threatened in the bathroom last week. And it just really, really shook me because I've raised them here and I've never worried about them going to the skate park, never, you know, nothing. I never had that experience. They've never had that experience. And I just really think this could be, you know, a simple fix. Maybe cameras at the bathroom. I don't know how many of you have little kids, but it's a lot to, you know, buckle up your kids and take them to McDonald's to go to the bathroom. She's 2. She's 2 years old, and that's a lot. She's potty trained. Why not, you know, use a facility that's right there? It's just, it's crazy. And I know that the homeless is a situation, but we do, you know, we do have facilities. They do have access to, you know, the bridge. I mean, we have access for mental health. I don't know what we could do, but maybe some foot patrol or bicycle cop in the park. Maybe, I don't know, something has to change because someone's going to get hurt. It really, thank God that he didn't do anything to them and that she was able to keep herself level-headed and not make her toddler in fear of the whole situation. You know, it's just, something has to give. This is out of control, so I don't know, but something really, yeah, something has to give. And I do know that, you know, the cops, do know that they cannot discriminate, you know, and it was a male that followed her into the bathroom, and because of Colorado, what is it? There is a discrimination or a bill stating that they can follow you in the bathroom, so I don't know, that makes me
Joe,
nervous.
That's time, but thank you so much for your comment too. And we definitely want our community to be safe for families, and we want to take this seriously and see what we can do to prevent something like this in the future. So thank you. We appreciate you bringing this to our attention. And we encourage the public to share their stories with us and let us know what's going on. So thank you. All right, seeing no other public comment cards, we'll move on. 4 is presentations. We don't have any. No public hearings, no unfinished business. So we're going to move on to 7A on the agenda, new business. Application for an out-of-city water tap and pre-annexation agreement, presented by Rich Landreth, our water superintendent. Thanks for still being around with us, Rich.
You're welcome. Good evening, Madam Mayor and City Council members. You have before you a contract for an out-of-city water tap, also a pre-annexation agreement for Snyder Mom Holdings. Your packet contains all the pertinent information. Staff is recommending approval of this water tap, and I'll answer any questions that you might have.
There's mention by Nancy to pursue annexation. What is, I guess, is the property owner interested in that?
The property owners are here and available to speak if you'd like them to.
Okay, great.
Good evening. I'm Chris Snyder. I'm the agent of the property owner. I'm not Snyder Mama, in case there was any question there. But the answer to that question is no. We're not favorable to it. It unfortunately would become a deal killer to the project in terms of the cost and the added requirements that would come with annexation. So we're here to request approval. We're certainly willing to sign the pre-annexation agreement. That's not a question. It's already been signed. But we would request that it be approved similar to all the other water taps, just with a pre-annexation agreement in place.
Okay. Does council have any questions or?
Any other questions?
Well, and anyone who knows me personally knows popcorn is my favorite food, and so I'm really excited to see your ideas.
If I may, I would like to comment on that for just a second, in that the plan there is to drive local business. So what Mona does, and Mona makes, is who's going to be operating out of that kitchen. Her goal is to ensure that families of Montezuma have the ability to have dinner together around the table. A homemade meal, not something fast food. And so that's kind of what started her business. The popcorn venture, just to wet your taste buds a little bit, is we do so much fundraising for local organizations, and half of that money stays here to support local organizations. The other half of it goes out of the county to Nebraska or wherever, the items are being purchased. Our goal is to create a facility such where we can manufacture items for local fundraisers and support local jobs at the same time, so that 100% of the revenue that's raised for local organizations stays in some form or fashion in our county. So that's what we're ultimately looking to accomplish here.
Great. Well, thank you for sharing that. Appreciate it. All right,
Motion?
yeah.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the contract for out-of-city water service and pre-annexation agreement as submitted by Snyder Mama Holdings. Furthermore, this, do I need to read the second part of that? The city should consider annexation proceedings. Do I need to read that last part?
It's up to you.
To ensure that the DFUs are received in order to calculate the size of the tap, additionally, an approved backflow prevention device will be required. Just seemed excessive.
Can I ask a question? Because it wasn't clear to me. Does that mean we do need to proceed with annexation? Because that's the way I understood and read that, is that the recommendation of staff was that annexation be pursued. My request is that it not be, that the pre-annexation agreement be sufficient, and should the city decide at a future point they wish to annex that city, in short, that agreement says I won't fight it.
Yes, and I would concur. This is simply the matter of the taps. That's what before you right now. There have been some recommendations made, but those are separate and certainly would go through planning and those kind of things. This is simply about the water tap.
Okay.
You would not be making any decisions about annexation tonight based on this. Annexation is a process that's got to go through the land use code, and it's got to go through city council, and so it's simply, are we going to sell them a water tap or not? They're agreeing to pre-annexation. I can't find the exact copy of the motion, so I apologize.
Should I just read it off the, like?
Sure.
Okay. Make a motion to approve the application for an out-of-city water tap request and pre-annexation agreement for the property located at 1521 North Mildred, as submitted by Chris Snyder for Snyder Mama Holdings.
That's exactly what you need to, and it would be approval of the pre-annexation agreement.
And approval of the pre-annexation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
I'll second it.
All right, motion made by Councilmember Yazzie and seconded by Kiefhoffer and Sproul.
Dobry,
Aye.
Kiefhoffer,
Aye.
DeHaven,
Aye.
Rainey,
Aye.
Yazzie,
Aye.
Sproul,
Aye.
Medina.
Aye. All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Mayor, while you're moving on to the next item, if I can just make a quick side note to that, it has been our policy that when we're giving an out-of-city water tap, that we do request that, as a matter of course, that pre-annexation agreement.
Great. Okay, now we're on to 7B, Letter of Support for Montezuma County, presented by Rachel Marchbanks, our Economic Development Community Director.
Close enough. Greetings, Council and Mayor. I'm here to present to you this evening a draft letter of support for a grant application that Montezuma County is applying for the EDA's State Outdoor Recreation Grant. It's a Heritage Asset Impact Study and Strategic Project Plan is what they're pursuing. They want to get some direction and analyze the investments that have been made in our outdoor recreation, and the investments that they should look at making in the future, such as enhancing the breakwater for McPhee, connections to Rim Rocker, and paths to Mesa Verde. Any questions?
Well, thanks for putting this together. All right, do we have a motion?
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the letter of support for the Montezuma County Economic Development Team's EDA State Outdoor Recreation Grant request to perform an outdoor recreation and heritage asset impact study and strategic project plan.
Second.
All right, motion made by Councilmember Kiefhoffer and seconded by Rainey.
Rainey,
Aye.
Spruill,
Aye.
DeHaven,
Aye.
Kiefhoffer,
Aye.
Yazzie,
Aye.
Dobry,
Aye.
Medina.
Aye. All right, we'll move on to 7C, letter of support for potential business expansion and upgrade.
Yes, so we have this is not necessarily a sure thing, but we have been approached by a business, a hotel that is looking at expanding and upgrading what it offers. Currently, there are no hotels that serve a higher end market within 50 miles, so we are competing with Moab and Durango, basically, for those types of customers, and considering that we're within 7 miles of Mesa Verde National Park, the hotel feels that there is a market there for an expansion. Also, the upgrade is consistent with the recently updated Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy developed in conjunction with Region 9 Economic Development District. A goal of that plan is to support strategies that focus on improving the competitiveness of current businesses and helping them to capture new markets. Additionally, tourism is an important economic driver in our city and region. Do you have any questions?
Madam Mayor, I move that we approve a letter of support for a proposed expansion and upgrade of the Holiday Inn Express.
Second.
All right, motion made by Councilmember Dobry and seconded by DeHaven.
Kiefhoffer,
Aye.
Rainey,
Aye.
DeHaven,
Aye.
Yazzie,
Aye.
Dobry,
Aye.
Spruill,
Aye.
Medina.
Aye. All right. Thank you, Rachel. All right, we'll move on to 7D, ordinance number 1304, series 2022, presented by City Attorney Mike Green.
Good evening, Council. One of the marijuana vendors came and requested that we look at expanding the business hours of operation for retail marijuana outlets and medical marijuana outlets. Staff reviewed it. It was presented to council. We took staff comments and council comments into consideration when we drafted the ordinance. It basically extends the hours, as I recall, to 11 o'clock at night from the same start time in the morning, which is 8 a.m. Staff recommends approval, and if you agree, we'd ask that you make a motion to approve ordinance number 1304, Series 2022 at first reading, and to set same for second reading and public hearing on July 12th, 2022.
Mike, have we heard from many of the marijuana businesses about whether or not this is something they would utilize if we made it 11 o'clock? I know I spoke to one owner who was kind of like, no thanks.
I believe Ms. Smith has received comments. I personally received none.
Yes, Councilmember Kiefhoffer, I have called each of the marijuana stores to let them know that this was a possibility of happening. I think some of the members that work at one of the stores is here tonight, and some will consider it and some won't, but mostly it'll have to do with their staffing.
But it gives them the option.
It does.
Okay.
Mayor, that's exactly what I was going to say. We're allowing them the option of expanding hours when and if their business allows them to do so.
And at this point, we would just be setting a public hearing, so.
You'd be approving it at first reading, setting it for second reading and public hearing, yes, sir.
I just wanted to ask if the police chief if this would create any issues in policing. No? Okay. Thank you.
All right. Anyone want to make a motion?
Madam Mayor, I'll make A motion to approve Ordinance 1304, Series 2020 on first reading, allowing the sale of marijuana between the hours of 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. and set for a public hearing on July 12th, 2022.
Second. All right, motion made by Pro Tem Yazzie and seconded by DeHaven.
Dobry,
Aye.
Kiefhoffer,
Aye.
Spruill,
Aye.
Rainey,
Aye.
DeHaven,
Aye.
Yazzie,
Aye.
Medina.
Aye. All right, we'll move on to 7E, ordinance number 1306, Series 2022.
Good evening, council again. This ordinance is a bit of a housekeeping matter. There is a section in the city code 1714A which allocates a percentage of court costs collected to be put into a budget line item for the police department for the DARE program, if I remember it correctly. The police department no longer has a DARE program. It's my understanding we are not looking at having one. And so there is a bit of a conflict or a conundrum here, putting money in a spot for a program we no longer have. So all I have done was remove the allocation to the DARE program in the line budget. State statute requires that court costs be paid into the general fund, so I left that language in there. I believe it's 1310-115. So all this is housekeeping to clean up a very small financial item, but to keep socking money away in a line item that doesn't exist anymore doesn't seem to make sense. So if you agree, we'd ask you to make a motion to approve the ordinance at first reading and set same for public hearing.
So could we move that money has to be moved into the police general fund, or could it be put in a specific like line item to support like the community intervention program or something of a similar?
The way it was done, and if you look at the code section, there's two allocations of money. One was a surcharge, and that was to the bridge shelter. This one was an allocation of court costs collected, and the state statute, which, as we don't have anything in the charter to contradict it, would say that all the court costs collected need to go in the general fund and be allocated from there. And it's not the, if I understood you correctly, it's not the police department general fund, it's the city's general fund. And you can do whatever you want with it from there. And like I said, this is a very small amount of money. I remember talking to Ms. Koski, and we're talking hundreds of dollars on a good month.
Could I ask the chief a question? Do you still have the bicycle program? And you have plenty of funds for the bicycle program? Sure.
Mayor, Councilman Spruill, we fund the bicycle program just out of our annual budget.
Are you able to utilize the bicycles in the park?
On occasion.
Is it manpower is the reason, or is it other issues?
Manpower.
Okay.
Yeah, we deal with a lot of other calls for service throughout the city that kind of limit what a bike patrolman. Sometimes we got to get across town in a hurry, and somebody on a bike is not able to do that. So.
Gotcha. If you needed new bicycles, a couple $100 that we're making off the courts would certainly help for something like that, but if you already have the money for it, then.
It absolutely helped.
Okay.
I kind of like Lydia's idea for the CIP program. Is there a way, I mean, because how much money is this per year? And
I think we're only talking like about $3,000. What?
Oh.
And that goes up based on court costs collected, the $32 that's added added to, it's not just if you go to court. Court costs are paid across the board. I'm sorry. Court costs are paid across the board. It's $32. I think it's 10 goes to the shelter, and the balance would be going into the general fund. If we get more active in Muni Court, more traffic tickets, yes, that number could go up. My caution is I would not like to repeat allocating a percentage of the costs collected. It would make more sense to initiate a surcharge like we did for the shelter and add to the court costs if that's what you wanted to do, which would require redoing this ordinance.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it makes sense for us to put this money into the general fund and then allocate through the budgeting process at the end of the year. I think we've made it clear to the community we want to fund the CIP program. I don't think a few $100s here and there is really going to do that. So I think that the budgeting process is the appropriate place for us to manage that. I guess with that, I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 1306, series 2022, amending 17-14A to allocation of a portion of the court costs collected to the Cortez Police Department budget for first reading.
Second.
Does he need to set the public hearing?
Yes.
Please.
Oh, I'm on the wrong. And set the public hearing for July 12th. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have a new second?
I'll second.
Okay. All right, motion made by Councilmember Dobry and seconded by Kiefhoffer.
Spruill.
Aye.
Yazzie.
Aye.
Rainey.
Aye.
Dobry.
Aye.
Kiefhoffer.
Aye.
DeHaven.
Aye.
Medina.
Aye. Okay, we'll move it to 7F, ordinance number 1307, series 2022.
Good evening, Council, once again. This is some of the hottest real estate in Montezuma County right now down at the airport. If you remember, we did a ordinance approving hangar site lease meeting or so ago. This is another similar ordinance approving a lease. It's for 40 years. So an ordinance is required. It's a transaction in real estate, so an ordinance is required. So staff has looked at this and approves the lease. If you agree, we would need simply a motion approving this ordinance and setting it for public hearing and second reading on July 12th. This is a standard format. You'll see combination of ordinance and lease, just adopting and approving the lease and authorizing the mayor to sign.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance number 1307, series 2022, an ordinance authorizing and approving a ground lease with Jared and Karen Hansen for construction of an aircraft hangar at the Cortez Municipal Airport, and to set the public hearing on July 12th, 2022.
Second.
All right, motion made by Councilmember Kiefhoffer and seconded by DeHaven.
Yazzie.
Aye.
Dobry.
Aye.
Kiefhoffer.
Aye.
DeHaven.
Aye.
Spruill.
Aye.
Rainey.
Aye.
Medina.
Aye. All right, that's it for new business. We have no draft resolutions or ordinances. Do we have a city attorney report?
Being consistent? No.
All right, we'll move on to city manager's report.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I've got several items for you this evening. First, I'd like to start with our major road construction projects are in progress and they are proceeding as planned. So that is good news so far. I'd like to touch on the recreation center. Our recreation center is critically low staffed. They are struggling to maintain the existing hours and services, and they're trying to keep up with the increased use and demand. We've received a petition created to encourage us to extend the hours of operation of the recreation center, which is something we would be more than happy to do if we had adequate staff for that purpose. To make that happen, we would need at least 5 new recreation associates and 5 recreation receptionists. These are actually really good positions in a fun and rewarding environment. We're looking at ways to incentivize that as well. So if anyone or anyone you know is interested in applying for one of these positions, please contact the website right away and look for details on how to apply. Also in aquatics, we're experiencing similar problems at both of our swimming pools, and that has resulted in fewer available open hours, especially at the indoor pool. To remedy this, we really need at least 10 new additional lifeguards on staff. This is a major safety issue because if there's not adequate oversight, somebody could be injured or lose a life. Again, if anyone is interested in applying, which for one of these many would consider a very fun and worthwhile position, please visit the city website for details on how to apply. The Parks Department is also critically low-staffed, and they are struggling to keep up with their maintenance responsibilities. This is not the first time I've mentioned this, but they are doing all they can to keep our parks mowed and green this summer, but they are putting in a lot of extra hours to keep up with the demand. We really appreciate your patience and that of our community this summer. They're actually doing a pretty good job, but you know, they'd like to do a little better if they had more people to help. Also, I'd like to point out that the traffic plan for the July 4th fireworks display at Park DeVita will be posted on the city website, etc., for examination by attendees. I think that might have already happened, sounds like, after the writing of this. We're looking forward to an exceptional display this year and wish to thank the Cortez Fire Protection District for their ongoing participation in making this possible. We as city staff wish our residents and visitors a safe and enjoyable July 4th holiday. Also, Mayor, while I have the floor, I would like to publicly thank Mike Green for his many years of service to the city of Cortez. It's been a pleasure working with him, and I wish him well in his future endeavors. With that being said, I would also like to welcome our new city attorney, Patrick Coleman, who is in the back. Pat, if you don't mind standing up, and so welcome. We look forward to working with you. Also, Mayor, as I often do an employee highlight, I would like to do that this evening. However, I feel it's best not to highlight just one employee in this case. Because of what's going on in the Parks and Recreation Department, I'd like to recognize them collectively for all they're doing this summer and with limited help. As I talk and look and visit with some of these employees, they are really, some of them are burning the candle at both ends and doing all they can to make things happen over there. But there are so many of them putting in extra hours per week, and just to keep up with the demand and to ensure people of this community are served. I can go on and on about the individual stories of dedication and going the extra mile in that department if we had time to do so. Nearly all of them go unnoticed as they fulfill their daily duties. So I'd like to thank each and every one of them for their hard work and dedication to the people of this community. Hang in there, team. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Mayor.
All right, thank you. Can I just ask a few questions? I just want to verify the road work on North Mildred, that's going to wait till after 4th of July? Or is it already starting?
Well, it's partially already started, but we will be able to, you know, exit that way. They will be able to use the road.
Okay.
You'll be able to use the road well into July, no matter, you know,
okay.
So.
And then the other thing I wanted to note on the map, it doesn't highlight that people can also park in that little lot we bought on the corner.
Oh, did we miss that? Okay.
Sorry.
We'll correct it. We knew about that, so.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor, for noticing.
Yes. Okay, so then, thank you, City Manager, for your report. We'll move on to City Council Committee reports. I guess I'll start. To review our workshop, we interviewed a candidate for the Parks, Recreation, and Forestry Board, as we have one vacancy on that board. And then we had an in-depth presentation from Brian Bartlett, who is the Marketing and Communications Manager for Mesa Verde Country, updating us what they're up to and how they're helping tourism in our community and beyond. And then we had a presentation on upgrading our AV system for the city council chambers. And we're looking to have that in our discussion further in our mid-year budget adjustment in July. And then we had a general council discussion where Mayor Pro Tem Yazzie brought up childcare in our community, and that there is free enrollment for 4-year-old children for 10 hours a week, starting in fall 2023. And then Councilmember DeHaven brought up the staffing issues at the rec center. All right. Do we have will any council members have board reports? All right.
Yep, I do. On Friday, June 17th, at the ungodly hour of 7 a.m., I attended the Parks, Recreation, and Forestry Advisory Board meeting. The bulk of the meeting was discussing the South Park planning, so we got a little update about that. We talked a little bit about some GOCO funding to the tune of $300,000 being okayed through next summer. We talked, again, a little bit more about workforce housing as part of that project. We also talked about the 4th of July event planning, except, of course, for that big parking area that was left off the map. Otherwise, we're ready to go. And then the final thing really was to talk about some vandalism incidents that have happened at the pickleball courts.
Thank you.
I was able to attend the library board meeting on June 16th, and during that we went over the recent events with the drag show and the cancellation of that. There was a vote taken to hold the event at a later time when it could be properly executed. Everyone was in favor. We also reviewed a petition about some of the books in the library and discussed how we could have some upcoming events focused on human trafficking.
Do you have any board reports? Okay. Arlena? I'll go last. Okay. Sproul, do you have any?
Meeting tomorrow.
Okay. David? Okay. I'll give a board report. So last week I attended the Colorado Municipal League Conference. It was the 100th year for it. I went with City Manager Drew Sanders, Rachel Marchbanks, our Community and Economic Development Coordinator, and Brian Peckins, our Public Works Director. And it was a really great conference. I have a lot of takeaways from it and ideas, and I'm also very thankful for our community. We're in a really good place, and I'm really excited for our future, and we just there's a lot of issues we've overcome, a lot of opportunities we have, and I think we're doing pretty dang well after talking to other communities. So I'm really thankful for our staff, our community members, our council, and just kind of the direction we're headed. And then one of the things that they brought up too is, what are we thankful for now that people were working on 10 years ago. And I wanted to thank Matt for all the work that you've done on council before, because there's a lot of things that we are thanking you today that you put in the hard work for 10 years ago. And I want to remind us that, the work that we're doing now, people 10 years from now are going to be thanking us. Things don't happen fast, unfortunately, but I feel like we're steered in the right direction, and hopefully 10 years from now we'll look back and be like, thankful that we did that, and we can benefit from it then. The other report I have is I met with Mayor Pro Tem Yazzie and IMO. Okay, hold on, sorry, I had her. IMO Sacco, okay, that's how you say it. She is the, works for the Southwestern Colorado Area Health Education Center, and she is also a program manager for Indigenous Peer Recovery Program. And we talked about kind of partnering with our tribes in the missing and murdered Indigenous women's movement. And, okay, you're going to have to help me.
I think she just, gave us some direction in terms of who we can connect with the Council for Navajo Nation, and just see if we can start a conversation around how we can better support as a neighboring community when it comes to the murdered, missing, and Indigenous women's movement. So we were really grateful to have that conversation with her. I will also plug for her too. She does a really amazing Indigenous cultural awareness training that I've attended I think twice now, and it's just always amazing to hear her story and her perspective, and I think everybody should take that training if possible.
And the idea behind the peer recovery program is people who are struggling, they get help most from people who have been there, and so the peer recovery program is people who are on recovery, and then they can help those and connect with those who are on that path as well. And there's always spots open. The cost is covered for those programs for training, and then that can even become a job and a career for folks. All right, I think that's all I had to share for board reports. The Mesa Verde Country meeting is next, two weeks from now. So, okay. All right, so then we'll move on to other items of business. We have an executive session. And then we'll have public participation, and then that'll be it, so. Do we have a motion to go into executive session?
I'll make a motion to go into executive session.
Second.
Is that enough?
Could you?
Cite the reason that
Yeah,
was
please.
on the agenda, I believe it was employee matters.
Please, thank you.
Yeah, I think you could just read that.
Okay. Sorry. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn into executive session for discussion of a personnel matter under CRS Section 26.402.4 FI, and not involving any specific employees who requested discussion of the matter in open session, any member of this body, or any elected official. The appointment of any person to fill an office of this body or any elected official, or personnel policies that do not require the discussion of matters personal to particular employees.
Second.
All right, motion made by Councilmember Kiefhoffer and seconded by Rainey.
DeHaven.
Aye.
Kiefhoffer.
Aye.
Spruill.
Aye.
Dobry.
Aye.
Rainey.
Aye.
Yazzie.
Aye.
Medina.
Aye. All right. we're not quite done with the meeting. But all right, okay. We're going to move on to our second round of public participation.
Mayor Medina,
Oh,
would you
sorry.
read the last page of the executive session paperwork?
Sorry.
Thank you, for the record.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay. The time is now 8:36, and the executive session has been concluded. PM. The participants in the executive session were myself, Rachel Medina, Drew Sanders. Do I need to say everyone's title? Is that a habit I should have? Okay, sorry. Arlena Yazzie, Robert Dobry, Matt Kiefhofer, Pat Coleman, Lydia DeHaven, David Rainey, Mike Green, and Dennis Spruill. For the record, and if any person who participated in the executive session believes that any substantial discussion of any matters not included in the motion to go into the executive session occurred during the executive session, or that any improper action occurred during the executive session in violation of the open meeting law, I would ask that you state your concerns for the record. All right, seeing none, the next agenda item is, thanks for that piece. All right, public participation. There's no limit to the number of speakers and no overall time limit. Speakers have a time limit themselves of 3 minutes per person, may only speak once, and may not cede time of another commenter. All right, I would like to invite John Kennedy to speak. Make sure your mic is on green and start with your name and address.
I would like to start a community watch assistance program backing our first responders on numerous emergency events, including crime prevention, medical emergencies, and other items of interest for the city. Thank you.
Thank you, John. All right, that concludes our agenda. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Oh, sorry, motion made by Councilmember DeHaven and seconded by Kiefhofer.
Aye.
Thank you, Matt. Rainey?
Aye.
Spruill?
Aye.
Yazzie?
Aye.
Dobry?
Aye.
DeHaven?
Aye.
Medina?
Aye. All right. Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight.